Hello guys, welcome to another live session of our weekly webinar. In today's webinar, we are going to talk mostly about the live demo of our platform because as you may have seen in our email, we've seen that quite a lot of users are sometimes facing some difficulties setting up rules properly or setting up accounts properly, and the way the platform is growing right now, uh, we truly believe that we need to go over these options and details of our platform once again to make sure everyone is on the right path and is utilizing their automation power to the maximum. That being said, I will go today into a quick overview on how to connect the accounts, like what data matters in terms of tracking tokens, API keys, and stuff like that, and how to connect them to your tracker. Next, I will go through the campaign details, as we have seen some users find it difficult to match the statistics on their tracker to our platform, mostly due to the naming, like what is LP CTR or CTR, how it differs, like how tracker ROI differs from traffic source ROI and stuff like that. And for the most part of this demo, I will focus into automatic rules, and I will try to do my best to go over even some advanced stuff in terms of configurations, even though it would be really great if you ask any questions even during the demo or after my program scheduled presentation, so that I can go over real examples or live examples of how to set those things up and make sure everything is on the right path. Without further ado, I would like to share my screen with you about on our platform. So here you can see the main dashboard, which most of you may already know how it looks like and what it shows, but to give a warm welcome even to our newest users, basically on the dashboard you will get a full overview of your connected accounts in terms of spend, net profit, clicks, average cost per acquisition, conversions, and ROI over the course of the last 30 days. And here you can easily scroll to specific dates in a graphical way. Also, you will have the performance breakdown by traffic sources, traffic source accounts, as well as top winning campaigns and top losing campaigns, so that you can easily go over the right campaign right from the dashboard. And here, when you first connect to the platform and or when you first create an account, the first thing to do is to connect your accounts, and you can do it by going to the account wizard, click on add the new platform, and here you can add Active Revenue, AdSkipper, Content Ad, Yahoo Gemini, MGAD, Outbrain, Rev Content, Run Native, Taboola, as well as Volume DSP, and you have no limits in terms of traffic source accounts that you can connect to the system. So basically, all your native media buying can be run through the optimizer, as long as we support the traffic source, or if you have any specific traffic source that we do not support yet, just let us know, and we will see what are the chances of integrating it pretty fast, if possible, and if they have a really reliable API based on which our platform works with most of the traffic sources. So to give you an actual example, let's say we want to integrate Outbrain. For Outbrain, we will need to add a nickname, let's say demo account here. We specify the time zone our account is set with, and in case you don't know that, make sure to go and check your account settings or talk to your account manager to help you get the right time zone of your traffic source account. This way, when you connect it to the optimizer, you are sure that you have the right settings and you will get accurate data in terms of spend and revenue when we aggregate or when you get aggregated data of from the traffic source as well as the tracker. once you specify the time zone, here you can specify the currency in case it's not in US dollars, like it may be in Brazilian uh, money, or it may be in euros, or even some other currencies. And for Outbrain here, we simply put our login email address and password, and we are good to go. Then we select, after putting them, we select the sub account, or even for Taboola, we do the same in terms of time zone and currency, enter our credentials, client ID, and client secret, which are supplied by your account manager or Taboola support. And one thing I would like to focus on is the maximum CPC changes per campaign. As you may know, Taboola has a limit of 200 sites with custom bids, which basically allows you to have only 200 sites at each given point in time with custom bids, where if you try to change the bid on a specific site, which could be the 201 site, it will fail. And in case you have good relations with your account manager, simply ask them to increase your limit if possible, and then update it on the optimizer so that the system can have the ability to change more site bids, more bids on the site level, and you can optimize even more granularly. So once you click save and have set up the traffic source, you move to the next step where you add your tracker. And here you can add an account from Thrive Tracker, Volume, AdsBridge, Binom, Funnelflux, BeamMob, RedTrack, Google Analytics, Kintura, as well as Everflow, which are in beta. And Everflow is one of the platforms where most offer networks are switching to lately, as it gives them quite a lot of data. So if you are using Everflow for your own campaigns or managing your own offers from Everflow, it might be a good chance to start automating your campaigns and utilize your Everflow data without even having to have a tracker like Thrive or Volume or Funnelflux or BeamUp. As well as one other thing I would like to mention is that when using one of these trackers, you can simultaneously have Google Analytics plugged into your campaign, so you can get even more data like time on page, specific custom conversions that you may have set up with Google Analytics, and utilize those data as well into with automatic rules to optimize your campaigns. So let's say we add Binom tracker here. We specify the account name, we specify the API key, as well as the login URL of our tracker. And if we are using custom domains for our campaigns, like sending traffic to a specific domain generated from Binom tracker, you can easily add them here and have your campaigns automatically detected. Once you save the tracker, you move on to the next step, where you will be asked to connect your traffic source and tracker. So basically, how the optimizer works is that it pulls data from the traffic source and it pulls data again from the tracker, knowing their time zone, which not all traffic sources and trackers that you may be working with are on the same time zone. But since the system gets the time zone from both ends, it is able to match your data on the same time zone and give you accurate spend and revenue, as well as ROI on the campaign publisher or widget or site, as well as on the ad level or section level, so that you can easily and quickly create automatic rules that will run actions on your behalf. Most of the times, which is something that we've seen quite often, is that some users may not have the campaign item ID token set on their traffic source configuration. Instead, they may have title, which is not one of the required tracking tokens, and this will affect the accuracy of tracking conversions from the tracker side, as well as landing page clicks on the on the tracker side when we're talking about ads. So the system will not be able to show you accurate statistics on the ad level in case the campaign item ID for Taboola, for instance, is missing. So to fix it up, the solution is pretty easy. Simply update your traffic source configuration on your tracker, as well as update your live campaign links with the missing token, and go over the account wizard once again without having to reconnect, but just simply connect your traffic source and tracker accounts, and make sure that you get all the green items here, and click finish. After you've done this, it will take up to from 10 to 15 minutes for the system to get the new configurations and update the references on its database. So when getting into the campaigns, I will try to go as quickly as possible over here, because it's not this is not the main topic I would like to focus on. So here you get the campaign IDs from as reported by the traffic source. You will get the campaign name, their status. Whenever you see a blue underlined value, it means that you can easily edit it. So let's say we're switching this campaign total budget from 5K to 10K. Then we click the down arrow on our keyboard and move on to the next campaign. Then we go to $3,000 over here. Here we would like to increase it to $5,000, so on and so forth. The same applies to the daily budget of your campaign. So let's say you have a campaign which is performing really well, and you would like to increase the budget on the daily budget on the campaign, so you get the most out of the inventory the traffic source you're running that campaign on has. So here you can simply increase the budget, let's say from $300 to $350, or maybe double it, or whatever value you would like to set. Here we can set it to $200, $500. We would like to lower it here, as well as increase it over here up to $50. This way you can easily change these metrics without having to go back to Taboola or Outbrain or MGID or Rev Content, whatever the traffic source it is, and do it right here from the optimizer, where you get to see all the statistics in the right order in means of tracker conversions, traffic source spend, actual ROI, and actual net profit. So let's say if we're considering if we're seeing net profit here, we see that only this campaign over here is profitable, and that is calculated based on the spend on the traffic source and the revenue on the tracker. So no matter if you update the cost on your tracker or not, the system will be able to have the right and will be able to show you the actual net profit of your campaign, as well as the ROI, as well as the cost per acquisition. So in terms of net profit, revenue, and this kind of metrics, where you actually need to compare two sources, the data from two sources, from the traffic source and the tracker, you can easily get them on the fly by simply plugging in your accounts here and see them on the optimizer dashboard. At the same time, you will get the landing page clicks, which are the LP clicks, or the landing page click-through rate, which is the LPCTR, as well as the click loss. So you can easily see your tracker statistics and your traffic source statistics all in one place. And here, for example, if we're checking the click loss column, it means that it will show the difference of the clicks from the traffic source to the tracker clicks. So if you're using Google Analytics, at the same time, you will be able to get statistics from Google Analytics. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're using Google Analytics along with one of our supported click trackers, you may have all data combined in one place. So it means you may be able to see the bounce rate, you may be able to see the time on page or session duration, or the total users or new users versus existing users, which is quite an important metrics if we are we have scaled considerably on one campaign, and we don't want to retarget the same users again or pay for the same clicks if we know that those users have already converted on our offers, or if we don't want to move around on the same audience over and over again. The same accurate statistics will be shown on the campaign level, inside the various levels of the campaign, like widget level, as well as content level, when we're talking about Taboola, or if we're talking about Outbrain. Here, for instance, we may get the accurate statistics on the let me get some data here. Yeah, so we can see it on the widget level, which is the top level of the publisher for Outbrain. We can see it on the content level, and we can see the performance on the section level as well, which is the sub entity of a widget. And if you've seen here, you can see that we have two other tabs that are rules and performance. So here you will see all the automatic rules that are assigned to a campaign. You can easily remove them or add other rules. So in case you have a set of existing rules that you have already created from the rules tab, you can simply click on add existing rules and import them to your campaign. Then if you'd like to create a new one from scratch, you can easily do it here, where you will get all the list of automatic rules that are applicable to the traffic source where your campaign is running on. So you don't need to switch pages back and forth from the rules tab on the campaign level to the rules page, but you can easily do it from here. And in the performance tab, you will get a graphical overview of how your performance changes, which may help you quite a lot in terms of taking decisions on how to optimize or how to build your automatic rules for your campaigns. You can see a graphical overview of how the clicks and conversions relate to bid changes, or how the cost and revenue, which are some more which are a more accurate set of metrics to judge your campaign, is changing based on your changes like publisher blocking, bid changes, budget increases, day parting, and stuff like that. Also, when you go to system activity, you will see all the automatic and manual changes performed on your campaign from the optimizer. So whenever you change anything on your campaign, and this is taking quite a bit long here because we are working on dummy data and this account is not live, but here you can check everything that you have changed on your campaign, from bid changes, publisher blocks, campaign budget changes, ads getting paused, or whatever change that you make on your campaign, either manually or automatically through the optimizer. So that by having that logged here, you can get back to the changes and see how it affected your campaign. And if that is something that affected your campaign negatively, then you can go over it and let's say revert back the changes that you had made to your campaigns. When talking about rules, we have already a set of ready-to-use rules for your campaigns, which are some generic ones, and we often suggest a lot of our users to go over this list of rules when they are not sure what to do with the rules. So here you can have you can check the rules description and conditions, and you can optimize them based on your needs. But here you may find from publisher blocking rules based on landing page click-through rate, ad click-through rate, ROI, or profitability. Let's say if you want to block your widgets or ads based on profitability, or if you want to unblock a widget in those cases where conversion came in with delay. So here you have quite a lot of examples. Let's say we pick this example here to use for our rules. Once we click on use this template, we get a notification where we are prompted to change the conditions of the rules based on our needs. So here you can specify the data, the date range, or the time interval based on which you want to optimize your campaigns. And here there is no golden formula, because it depends quite a lot on how you optimize your campaigns and how you distribute, or how much testing time you give to your ads or to your widgets. So let's say we optimize our campaigns based on the last 14 days or last 7 days or even our last 30 days, and whenever our rules run, the system will check on the performance of the last 3 days, including today, if the conditions that we set to the rules are met or not to execute the desired action. In this case, pause the content. So in the conditions, we may choose we may choose various ones. So we may match and combine metrics from the traffic source and the tracker all together in one rule. So we are sure that we specify accurately the source of the data we are looking to optimize our campaign on, as well, from one side and from the other side. So let's say we are doing that on we are optimizing our ads first on in terms of click-through rate. So on each our ads, and this could be a good rule if you're running with volume DSP, where you are paying your traffic on CPM basis rather than CPC basis, where you get where on CPM you get charged for impressions, and you don't want to get you don't want to get traffic from any publisher that may squeeze out all your account budget. So let's say you start off with 20,000 impression on an ad, like you give 20,000 impressions on an ad and expect to get at least 0.1% click-through rate and have at least one conversion. In this case, instead of doing, sorry guys, in this case, instead of keeping on paying on that publisher, you block it right based on your click-through rate, because you're paying on CPM basis. The same applies even on those cases where you want to optimize for or you want to get traffic from high click-through rate or above the average click-through rate publishers, and want to exclude all those low click-through rate publishers, which you may find quite often on almost all sources. And to make decisions sound and reliable, at the same time, we are adding a tracker revenue or even a tracker conversion metric, where we don't want to block any publisher which has a low click-through rate but has generated conversion, or it has generated a specific revenue, or even if it has a positive ROI, or it has a tracker ROI greater than, let's say, minus 50%, which for as a start it could be a good starting point to optimize your campaign. Because as we are testing multiple ads at the same time, we are testing the network on how it responds to our ads and the audience that the network has. Once we specify the conditions of our rules, we can easily specify the campaigns that we want to run these rules on. And when we are talking about widget and ad level, sorry, when we're talking about campaign level rules, widget level rules, and ad level rules, it means that we can combine different networks on the same rule at the same time. So we are not limited by network here. So we can utilize this rule on almost these rules on almost all networks. And here we specify how often we want this rule to execute. And if we're talking about 10 minutes when optimizing for click-through rate, maybe it is way too aggressive, because as we know, the visitor takes some time to scroll down to the ads level, to the native ads level of a page. So 10 minutes might be a bit too aggressive, but doing it every 30 minutes or every 1 hour or every a few hours, let's say every 3 hours, could be a more reliable execution frequency. And based on the options that we select here, let's say we select alert only, we will get just an email notification with the list of the ads and their metrics, but the system will not execute any action. While when we select execute, the system will automatically execute the pause action on those ads without sending us a notification, whereas the default option, the execute and alert, is that each time a rule executes and blocks a publisher, blocks a content or an ad, or changes a bid, or changes anything on our campaigns, we will get email notifications with all the details about the publishers or affected items and their metrics. So even though we might be on the go or we might be commuting to somewhere, we get to know what happens with our campaigns. So another rule example I would like to focus on is, let's say, optimizing on the widget level based on clicks on the traffic source and landing page click-through rate, because as we know, most of the guys that are running native or are running native at scale, they are basing lots of their optimization strategy to the landing page click-through rate. So unless we don't want to spend huge amounts of our budgets on publishers to in the hopes of getting any conversions, we'd better optimize on an early step of our funnel. So we optimize based on our landing page click-through rate. So let's say we give all our publishers of our campaign, as an example, at least 100 clicks from the traffic source just to test them out, and we expect to get at least one landing page click. And in case not, or in case we receive 0 landing page clicks, then we pass the publisher, because at the same time, as you can see it here, we have tracker conversions as a metric, but this is just a redundant failsafe for our rule, just in case we are passing a small portion of our traffic via direct link because the offer we are running has a pre-sales page already, or it just we just mistakenly send traffic directly to the offer from our based on the flow on our tracker. Then we add an additional condition here. But in case we don't have any landing page click-through rate, we don't have any conversion, so it's not worth keeping those publishers up again or anymore. Another way to optimize would be to optimize based on landing page click-through rate. So let's say landing page click-through rate we're expecting to get after X amount of clicks, or after X amount of spend, traffic source spend. Let's say we are giving a specific publisher $30 spent, let's say twice the payout of our offer, and we're expecting after this $30 spent to have at least 15 or 10% landing page click-through rate and an offer conversion rate, tracker conversion rate of at least 10%, or let's say 5%. So in case we're not getting at least 10% landing page click-through rate and a 5% tracker conversion rate on the offer, it means that we know that our offer doesn't have any good chance of becoming profitable. We may still add any other conditions like net profit, like the tracker net should be let's say greater than $30, or we may do it on an ROI basis, like the tracker ROI should not be less than minus 80%, which is a close, which is a huge way down on our campaign performance, but we can even do it to minus 30 or 20% in case we have a promising offer and we want to optimize even further our campaign. One option I would like to focus on here, which is exclusive to widget rules only, is the ability to exclude certain widgets. So let's say let's pick a new example. Let's say I'm creating a blog publisher rule for one of my Taboola campaigns, and I'm optimizing based on the last 7 days. And in this example, I'm giving it, let's say, traffic source clicks, at least 50 traffic source clicks. I want to use, I want to get at least one landing page click, or a landing page click-through rate of at least 8%, and I'm expecting to get an ROI. I'm expecting to get a tracker ROI, which is calculated based on traffic source spent and tracker revenue, not less than minus 50%. In this case, I would like to run this rule on all publishers of my campaign, but I want to exclude top publishers, which means I want to go over one of my Taboola campaigns and I want to pick the publishers which usually convert, like MSN or uh, Business Insider or some other publishers. So here, let's say I'm picking this publisher and I'm placing it here. I'm picking Fox News and I'm adding it here, or I'm getting this other MSN placements, and by doing so, I'm excluding these placements from being considered by this rule, which means that whenever I run this rule on this Taboola campaign, the rule will block all the publishers that match these conditions, but will not block these Taboola publishers that are over here. And I'm executing this rule every 30 minutes because for my campaign needs and the way and based on traffic I'm getting on this campaign, I want to optimize for every 30 minutes. But the main important thing is that this rule will not block the main publishers I'm trying to get traffic from. So I hope this is clear. In case you guys have any questions about this, make sure to ask it in the comments in the Facebook Live, or to ask it on the group chat on our Zoom presentation. So it will be even easier for us to go over these examples. Another rule I would like to go over is bid changes, and this is quite critical because we want to have we want to have bids really we want to bid really carefully on our campaigns, and we don't want to go to get anything crazy in terms of changes of bids, because as we know, these networks tend to absorb the new bid changes pretty quickly and deliver them as soon as possible. And we've seen sometimes that we have questions like how much time it gets for Taboola to update to get the new click, or Outbrain to get the new click, the new click bid. And sometimes it's enough to leave it like for 10 minutes or 15 minutes on a pretty high bid, and it can drain out anything that you and any budgets that you have on your campaign. Moving on further to the bid changes. So we have campaign bid changes, which could be a good way to approach your campaign changes. Let's say we optimize based on the last 3 days, and we are taking in consideration the spend of let's say from the traffic source. We want to optimize after spending $200, and we want to have a tracker ROI or an average CPC, or if the average CPC is greater than $0.25 and average CPC, and this is the interesting part of building our rules, because you can put two same conditions at the same time in one rule to create limits. Let's say we want to optimize only if our or we want to change the bids only if our spend is above $200 and our average CPC is between $0.25 and $0.45 or $76. In this case, we would like to make a bid change, which could be to set the bid to a specific dollar amount. In this case, I'm placing it to $0.52 or 52 cents, or we can increase the budget or increase the budget by a specific dollar amount, in this case $0.01, or percentage of my current bid. Let's say I want to increase the bid by 5 or 10%, and here I might as well add some ROI metrics. So let's say if the tracker ROI is greater or equal to minus 15%. And here I'm telling the system, do not go crazy, but keep the bids between 0.2 and $0.8 on this campaign. So I don't want to outbid just infinitely or increase the bids infinitely by 10%, even though I'm setting an execution frequency of 1 hour of changing my bids. And I have done this only on these campaigns, but at the same time, I want to make sure that my bids don't waste my budgets quite unexpectedly. So in this case, I'm setting the lower and higher limit, or if we are working on site level or widget level bid changes, we can easily set the bids based on CPC and EPC, which are two of the most important metrics. So let's say we pick an example here. On Taboola, we would like to change bids based on these two metrics. So for every publisher that has spent at least $20 and it has an average CPC between $0.25, let's pick the same example, and an average CPC of less than $0.75, but at the same time it has a tracker ROI greater than minus 20 or minus 10%, we would like to set the bid. We would like to set the bid to an X amount of percentage of our EPC, which means we would like to set the bid. In this example, I'm setting the bid to 75% of my EPC. And it means however the EPC changes during over the course of my optimization time window, the bid will change every 1 hour, increasing them or decreasing them based on how the EPC changes, and will still have the limits. So whenever we get an EPC of I don't know, $1.2 or $1.5, the system won't be able to bid the 75% of $1.5, as it may end up being too much for our campaign and get excessive spend on the publisher and get even worse results. But in this case, we can limit them and set this rule to every 1 hour, and at the same time we are getting email notifications, and we may even get notifications on Slack in case you are using this platform, our platform, as a team. So you will get notifications on Slack as well as on Telegram. So it's only a matter of setting them up on the settings of your campaign, of your account. So you can add up to 5 email accounts, 5 Slack accounts, and 5 Telegram accounts. So whenever you want, or whenever needed, or change happens on your campaigns, you can get the notifications on these channels as well. One other feature I would like to go through is the smart list, and we've seen that not a lot of users are using them, and most of the time, maybe intentionally, but if unintentionally, I would encourage them to use them, because basically this kind of feature allows you to start new campaigns pre-optimized based on your existing data. So even though if you are running a campaign which is not profitable, but then after 1 month or 2 or even 2 weeks, you find another similar offer which is showing more promising results. You can use your existing blacklist from the other campaign, which is collected from smart lists, to optimize that campaign, that new campaign, right from the start. So let's say we are running a campaign on Outbrain, and or let's say we are running a campaign on Rev content. We have a list of widgets that we have added over here from our existing manually, and we are running this smart list, or we are collecting publishers to this smart list based on these two rules. So right from here, we are able to collect all publishers on Rev content which are sending 100 traffic source clicks but are generating no landing page clicks and no conversions. So this means that all these publishers will be added to this list, and we are collecting also all publishers that have low CTR but are not converting at all. So in this list, we will have all these kinds of publishers. And when we are ready to share this list or use this list on other campaigns, we can easily select the campaigns over here and click save. And once we do so, we get these publishers blocked on these new campaigns, so we don't have to waste any more budgets. Another use case would be to have 2 or more campaigns which are running on the same vertical, on the same traffic source, and on the same targeted devices. In this case, you don't need to spend the same amount of budget on all these publishers, but rather on all these campaigns, but rather simply plug in the rules that you want to qualify the publishers on, then specify one or more campaigns to read from this list. So let's say in this example, we are sharing this list on MGID, where we are collecting all widgets that are sending 100 traffic source clicks without any landing page clicks and conversions, and we are collecting all widgets that have a low CTR and don't convert at all, but still they are hurting our overall ROI of our campaign. And in a matter of a few days, whenever these publishers show up on your campaigns, they will be added to this list. And no matter which of these campaigns gets the publisher blocked first, the other one will have that blocked as soon as it gets added to this list. And also, an interesting feature and a huge time saver, I cannot stress this enough, is the campaign creation feature, which allows you to create campaigns in bulk on almost all traffic sources that we support. So let's say we would like to create a new campaign on Yahoo Gemini, and we select the sub account, we select the advertiser account here, but I don't have one connected, which is live. And I'm really sorry I went through this example, but let me go over Rev content. So let's say we're creating a new campaign on Rev content. We're adding the boost name, let's say demo desktop campaign, and we specify the bid amount. Let's say we start from 33 cents. We bid on a CPC level, and we give a daily budget of $150 to this campaign. And we want to optimize, we can select the optimization strategy as Rev content needs it to be on an engagement or cost per acquisition and ROI. Let's say we specify it for cost per acquisition ROI, where we can select the pixels or events from Rev content. Then we can schedule or specify the schedule we want to run this campaign. If we want to start it, let's say from 15th of January at 10 o'clock, and we specify an end date, as well as we can specify the targeting topics. Let's say we want to run health and fitness, lifestyle, and editorial news categories. We want to target only Germany in this campaign, and we are targeting only desktop devices. We can specify even the language here to be German, and add the tracking code like widget equals widget ID and category equals category ID, and so on and so forth. Then move to the next step where we can easily upload new images or create our ads. So let's say we specify our campaign link. I'm just typing a random URL over here. We can add any tokens from Rev content if needed. Let's say we want to send here the content ID. Let's say we have connected this with Google Analytics as well. So we say UTM source equals Rev content, or UTM source equals the widget ID. And we can quickly copy and paste it over here. We enter then the headline, demo headline 1, then we enter another one, demo headline 2, 3, and we specify the brand name here, and we can add the images that we would like to use. So let's say I'm just using some life insurance images here. I just had them ready before, and if needed, we can size down the images here or crop them, but we are not able to size them up. So we can change the focus over here, so we know we get our images or ads focused on the right place. We get it over here as well, and we can make sure that we do it properly. We can uncheck any ads that we don't want and move on to the next step where we can add the automatic rules to our campaign, which means as soon as the campaign start getting traffic, we won't need to go over and hit refresh on our screens all day long and spend all our days behind a screen, making sure that we optimize right on time. But all we do is specify the automatic rules from here, and when our campaign goes live, our rules will be there to optimize this campaign. We can also create another variation, and intentionally I created the desktop campaign. Let's say we create another variation for mobile only, and here I can specify the device targeting for mobile, Android, and iOS. I can specify a different bid over here. I can change the campaign link to point to another campaign link on our tracker, as well as add any other rules that I would like to use for the or I would like to specifically use for the mobile campaign. In the next step, we get a preview of our campaigns, and once we click done once on this on the done button, this campaign will be pushed to the offer network, to the traffic network, in this case Rev content, and we can see the progress over here if the campaign failed or if it failed. Like here we had an API error because Outbrain API for the moment wasn't available. We may get an error even if the images do not meet the requirements of the network, or the headline is too long, or anything like that. So if that happens, we can easily retry uploading the failed campaign without having to recreate it from scratch, but simply go to the details of the campaign creator queue and hit on retry to upload once again the campaign that we previously created. Of course, when everything is uploaded successfully, here we get the finished message, and we know all is good and our campaign will start receiving traffic soon. One other feature that I would encourage you to use is, especially if you are using whitelist campaigns, is to check the reporting for all the campaigns that you have on the optimizer, because you can easily get a list of all top performing publishers from all the counts on the widget level, or top performing ads for all the campaigns that you specify on here. So you can pick the campaigns that you want to get the reports from, or get all the campaigns and go over like as long as the last 6 months of reporting or any custom range to get the performance of the widgets in their longest run, and by judging them based on actual spend, actual revenue, actual ROI, as well as get an idea of what the average bid or what the sweet spot of the bidding of your bids should be to get the required results. So here, for instance, we can see that this widget has spent quite a lot, and it has generated 32 conversions with $179 revenue, but still it was unprofitable. So we can easily sort these columns here based on tracker ROI, and we can quickly pick the top performing widgets. And here we can see the average CPC. We can see the revenue on the tracker, the ROI, how much traffic it has, and in this case we have small volume publishers. But if we go in the other pages, let's say we go to page 3 or 2, we may get to higher volume publishers where we can see lots of clicks and a better or more reliable data. So let's say on Daily Mail, we had an average CPC of 33 cents, and we had a cost of $94, ending up with a 70% tracker ROI or actual ROI, which is what we are looking for. And I'm not sure if it is still possible, even on specific cases, for affiliates to get whitelist campaigns on Taboola and Outbrain, since they have closed this possibility quite a long time ago. But if needed, you can easily pick these widgets from here and add them to the widget exclusion, or to the widget rules to be excluded, because you know that you have a good performance on these publishers, and you just don't want to be too aggressive and simply add them here on the widget exclusion list on your widget rules. And so for the manual stats update is an option to pull once again all your tracker information in case you had any issues with conversions being posted with delay and stuff like that. So you can easily select the tracker, select the traffic source, select the time range based on which you want to update your campaigns, and you can select all campaigns or all active campaigns or all paused campaigns here. And once you click update, the system will automatically pull the last 14 days performance of all the selected campaigns to the system, updated in the optimizer. I don't know if you guys have any specific questions about any specific rules or settings of the rules. Of course, I didn't go over all the advanced stuff, but in case it is needed, feel free to write us an email at support.theoptimizer.io, and we will be able to get back to you as soon as possible with the actual examples of your actual needs and any suggestions from our end on how to fine-tune that specific rule. That being said, I would like to share again my other screen over here. So when talking about rule setups, you can utilize custom conversions or custom events. It could be from volume tracker, from where we currently support custom conversions. It could be from Google Analytics, where you are able to set up custom conversions based on your specific needs and optimize your campaigns right on their early stage, or right on their based on specific events. So let's say we're running an e-commerce offer directly to our store, and we're not running it anymore on Facebook because Facebook banned our account. We know from history that we had an average cost per acquisition of leads of a maximum of $5. Let's say it could be a simple email opt-in on our mailing list. So if we're optimizing based on leads first, or our funnel goes through a lead generation first, then we can start optimizing based on leads and based on landing page clicks, as shown in the example A, or we can optimize based on add to cart, as shown on example B, where we know that we have an average cost per add to cart of at least $5, and we are giving it $2 to get at least one. We are giving it $10 to get at least 2 add to carts on the publisher level. Of course, these examples can go into huge details based on specific needs, but these are just a visual representation on how versatile and how flexible our rules are. We can do it for search arbitrage campaigns, as another example that I've shown even on my earlier presentations. And you, you have your options all here. It's just a matter of combining the conditions and rules properly. So let's say for CPC campaigns, most of the time you don't get statistics on the same day or real time, and in that case you specify the time interval you would like to exclude from the considered time interval. So you know that you're excluding today and you're excluding yesterday for your campaign, so that you don't optimize based on data that are not coming in real time on your tracker, and you don't want to optimize without those data. So there are other examples like bot clicks or widgets or stuff like that that we can go through. So in case you have any specific case, as I said earlier, feel free to ask your questions in our Zoom session or Facebook Live, and we can go over any specifics of it. And as I mentioned earlier, the widget exclusion feature, which is a new one to the optimizer, can be a huge can represent a huge potential for optimizing aggressively on low tier publishers compared to good or top performing publishers of a specific traffic source. So better use it and get the most out of it, and avoid blocking any promising or any publisher where you took where it took a lot of time for you to get there and get their traffic. One thing I wanted to share with you is a training which our buddy from GeekOut Edu, James Van Elswyk, is hosting on January 14 till January 17. I will be covering along with Joe Barton and Rita from Purple, Joe Barton from ROI, Joe Barton, which which owns a really great agency and runs native quite heavily, and Rita, which is one of the oldest media buyers that James has collaborated with. And I will take part on this presentation as well, where I will cover mostly the technical side of the tracking, and here we will go over campaign setup, traffic source specifics, tracking setup, specific combinations of Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and the optimizer, specific configurations for e-commerce, especially if you're if you're coming from Facebook and you want to diversify you want to diversify the traffic and the paid sources of your e-commerce store, as well as we will be giving out specific strategies. Each of us will show its own strategy on how we are optimizing our campaigns, or used to optimize our campaigns, in order to give you a full picture on how to properly run a campaign, and what optimization strategies and what optimization actions you need to take in order to get your campaigns running and get good results on native. It's not that native is really hard. It doesn't have a specific algorithm, so you have to build your own. But at least getting someone's experience, if you're unexperienced on native, you can get a starting point, and you can get things rolling based on the content that will be shared in the course, and as well as we will be supporting all our course students in a private group where we will go over their specific needs in terms of tracking, campaign setup, starting bid, optimization strategies, and stuff like that. So in case you're new to native, make sure to sign up for this training. We have 10% off using NBN's special coupon code. So I guess on the higher package, you save at least $100. So make sure to use this coupon code and get yourself listed and get this content, because it will be limited in terms of attendees. So only 100 people will be attending this course, and there will be no replace. So it won't be possible to get the content after the course have ended. So make sure to sign up and get 10% off by using coupon code NBN special. You will find the link of the course in the description of this Facebook Live session. So make sure to check it out. And if you have any questions, even regarding the course or especially about the optimizer, make sure to ask them on my email, losid@theoptimizer.io, or support@theoptimizer.io. This was all I had prepared for this session. I hope you guys are clear with what we have shared today. In case you have any specific questions or any specific needs in terms of rule configuration, I will be more than happy to go over here without ending up the presentation, or even after, in case you just joined late and you didn't go through everything yet. You can simply ask your questions in the comments below, and we will show, or I will show you a screenshot of the proper setup, or even a quick video, like a 2 or 3 minute video on how to set up things that I can share on the comments of this presentation. All right, guys. So if there's no questions or anything specific you would like to go through, I'm ending up this presentation. And as I said, make sure to use our contact support@theoptimizer.io or losid@theoptimizer.io, where me and my colleagues will be able to get back to you in a timely fashioned way, like in a matter of minutes or just a couple of hours. And if you need to go over a live demo based on your specific needs, make sure to go at theoptimizer.io/native or /mobile, which is our other platform for pop, push, and redirect traffic, where to submit your request for a private demo. And there we can go over together that private demo, where we can discuss even on your specific needs for optimizing your campaigns. Thanks for your attention, guys, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.